I'm Melissa. I'm an Argentinian who has been living in Denmark for more than 12 years. If you don't know, in the last days here in Denmark, it has been a lot of news about how the system treat their citizens, how communes treat cases, especially related to family and kids. And I want to tell you my story because many people still believe that the Danish system works well, and every time a citizen needs help, it would get help. Well, it turns it's not like this. I think for many years Danes relate and trust blindly in the system, and I think that was a very big mistake because that gives a lot of space for people working in the public sector to do whatever they want because first there's no consequences for them. The consequences are only for the citizens, never for the employees. That's quite funny because actually they're working for us. They must provide a service. If not, they can go very happy and work in the private sector. But no, they love working in the public sector because they can do whatever they want. They can break the law. They can treat people like shit and so on. And let me tell you a little bit, just one example of something I live. I was in court with my ex-husband for my kid's residency. My son was 3 years old. His kindergarten called me and told me I should pick it immediately. So I went there. When I arrived to the institution, I found out that the police was there and they were waiting for me because the kindergarten has report to the commune that my son has multiple bruises in his body that didn't seem normal, and they opened a case. So the police was waiting for me because we needed to take my 3 years old boy to the hospital. So they will check on him and they will find out what happened to his body. So we take my son to the hospital with two police and a doctor who take pictures of my son naked. After that, the hospital certificate that my son has been hitting. Because of his marks and bruises, they determined that my son was hit by his father in the time he was with him. So from there, the police start investigating this case. I was living with my son in a crisis center. That was not really a coincidence, right? And my son talked with one of the employees in the crisis center. He was playing with police car and he told this person, please call the police because my father hits. So this person makes a new complaint to the commune, the second one already. The night before, I was supposed to go to court about all this case because I wanted to have the address of my son. My lawyer called me and she was furious with me. And she told me why you didn't say about the neighbor. And I was like, what neighbor? The letter that the neighbor wrote to the commune. And I was like, I have no idea what's that. The neighbor of your ex-husband wrote a complaint to the commune because of the way he was hitting and doing things to your son. And that was like 5 months ago. So the commune, especially the part that takes care supposedly of kids, totally forgot to mention this to me. They never send this letter to me. They never do anything against my ex-husband. Not only that, but the same social worker who decided that it was not need for me to find out about that. She said to my ex, why don't you request full custody of your son so you don't have to deal with this woman? Me. As you can imagine, after I found out about that, I called this person. And guess what? She never picked the phone. She was so distracted. She never replied any emails. So because she was not getting me any answers, I request to talk with the leader of the place, who supposedly take care of the kids in Denmark. And guess what? She never replied back. Isn't that crazy? Actually, when I called to talk with the boss of this wonderful place, the secretary, she knew who I was. Imagine how important I was. And she said, "You are the Argentina girl, don't you?" Yes. The secretary knew magically who I was, even though she never saw me. So someone has been talking about it, gossiping, not replying to my emails and calls. So after that, and seeing that me and my son has zero rights in this country, I have to go to my embassy. And the consul, the Argentinian consul, called the social worker, sent emails. She didn't reply, of course. So he also contacted the leader of this place multiple times. They never reply back to the Argentinian embassy. So much complaining. They sent a letter saying that this social worker is now on sick leave. So she couldn't take any accountability of anything. They never suffer any consequences such as insanity. After these free complaints against my ex-husband and zero complaints about me. Not only that, but the kindergarten, after my son started living only with me, they write a line that I will never forget. They wrote, "He is now a new boy." But that didn't care. You know what? Ex-husband, after all that, got the address of my son. You know why? Because they say that he has been living there longer. That was the explanation. Welcome to Denmark.